Welcome to Brain Alpha. You know that feeling, right? Where you're just working nonstop, absolutely grinding, but your biggest goals still feel like they're miles and miles away? It's like you're stuck on a treadmill. Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today by diving into the philosophy of entrepreneur and author Tim Ferriss. It is all about escaping that busy trap. So, first up, we're going to deconstruct this idea that just working hard is the only way to get ahead. We're going to uncover a really powerful way of thinking that helps you achieve way more by, believe it or not, doing less. Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to start with a feeling I'm sure hits close to home for a lot of you. Working your tail off without seeing any real results. It's that exhausted feeling you get on the drive home where you know you were doing stuff all day, but you can't for the life of you name one big thing you actually accomplished. A lot of the time, that feeling comes from what you could call productivity theater. It's where we're just performing tasks to look and feel busy, for our boss, for our colleagues, even for ourselves, even if those tasks don't create any real value. The way out starts with one huge mindset shift. And that brings us to this crucial distinction, being efficient versus being effective. See, efficiency is all about how you do things, answering emails super fast. But effectiveness, that's about choosing what to do in the first place. It's about doing the right task. Think of it like this. Say you want to learn a new language. The efficient person might try to memorize the entire dictionary, all 30,000 words. But the effective person, they figure out the 2,000 most common words you actually need to have a conversation. One path is just a fast track to burnout. The other actually gets you to your goal. So it's clear that picking the right thing to work on is way more important than anything else. But that's the big question, isn't it? How in the world do you find that right thing? Well, Ferriss calls this finding your first domino. That one single action that when you push it over makes everything else fall into place or just become totally irrelevant. And the key to finding it is a classic idea you've probably heard of, the Pareto Principle, aka the 80-20 rule. And once you start looking for this rule, you see it literally everywhere. 80% of a company's sales probably comes from 20% of its customers. 80% of the clothes you wear, you probably pull them from just 20% of your closet. It's wild. The hard truth is that most of what we do every single day has very little impact. The goal is not to do more things. The goal is to get ruthless about identifying that vital 20% and focus all your energy there. So, asking yourself that question is the key to finding your first domino. And finally, stopping the busy work. But, okay, what if you pick a big project, you go all in, and it fails? That fear, man, it stops so many of us dead in our tracks before we even start. So let me ask you this. What if you could reframe the whole game? What if you could set up your projects so that even if they fail on the outside, you still walk away with a massive win? Ferriss has this awesome, simple framework to basically de-risk failure. Before you jump into any big project, just ask yourself, will this thing develop skills that I can take with me anywhere? And will it build or strengthen my most important relationships? See, if the answer to those is yes, then the project is never a true failure. What you learn and who you connect with, those become assets. They're stepping stones that you carry with you to the next thing, making you smarter and stronger for whatever comes next. This way of thinking also encourages you to run short, focused experiments, maybe for 3 months, instead of getting locked into some rigid 5-year plan. That flexibility lets you jump on opportunities you never saw coming. In fact, this is exactly how Ferriss started his podcast, which now has over 1 billion downloads. It just started as a small, short-term experiment. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most surprising piece of this whole puzzle. It's a really powerful idea that ties everything together. So check this out. There's this weird paradox where there is less competition for huge, ambitious, impossible goals than there is for the realistic ones. And why is that? It's because most people underestimate what they can do, so they all crowd around the small, safe targets, leaving the big playing field wide open. And this isn't just a theory. It was proven in this amazing experiment Ferriss ran while teaching at Princeton. He gave 2 classes the exact same impossible challenge. The first class was convinced it was too hard. And guess what? 0 of them succeeded. The next year, he told the second class it was totally possible. Nearly a third of them pulled it off in just 48 hours. The only thing that changed was what they believed was possible. The big takeaway here is that you are almost certainly capable of way more than you think. The biggest thing holding you back isn't how hard the goal is or how tough the competition is. More often than not, it's just your own self-doubt. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel.
Give us a thumbs up and help us build the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.